One is that you should not use human shampoos on your pet. Human shampoos have been pH balanced for our skin, for human skin, and it's more alkaline than dog skin. So we've got to be careful because human shampoos can actually dry a pet's skin out. The only human shampoo that's okay, that's pH neutral, is baby shampoo. So if you want to use a cleansing shampoo before you use a medicated shampoo, then baby shampoo is okay. Also, do not use Dawn dishwashing liquid or Palmolive or some of those things because there are degreasing agents in those dishwashing liquids, and they can actually strip the oils off the skin and really do some harsh damage if you use those cleaning agents as shampoos for your pet. So something like Ivory soap or baby shampoo is fine, but anything outside of that line you should not use on your pet for shampoo. We're here at the City Dog Market, one of the premier pet markets in Atlanta. And they have two beautiful shampoo rooms for pets. So we're going to use one of those today to show you how easy it can be if you choose to take your pet to a dog wash. The first thing you need to do, whether you're shampooing your pet at home or at one of these wonderful places, is to take your jewelry off so that it doesn't get damaged or tarnished by any of the shampoos or dips. So I'm going to take my rings off and put it in my pocket. And the next thing I'm going to do once I get these rings off is put on a handy dandy apron, just to keep the shampoo and water off of me. So I've got some clothes that I don't mind getting messed up. I've got some nice non-slip shoes on to keep me from slipping and falling, and the next thing you're going to see is Bendy in the tub, and we are going to get wet. All right, we've got Bendy in the tub and we're getting ready to get wet. We're going to show you how to shampoo your pet. And I think you will remember that I advise you to have everything assembled so that you don't have to stop and go anywhere to get anything. So we have everything here. We have our shampoo already mixed up and ready to go. We have some cotton balls here to put in her ears to protect her ears from water. And we have some artificial tears ointment to put in her eyes to protect her eyes from soap and water. Now there are two types of artificial tears that you can get. There's the artificial tears ointment, and then there are the artificial tears drops. They both are protected. You can get these from the drugstore. You can get the ointment from your general practice vet or from the drugstore, but the important thing is to be sure that you put something in your pet's eyes to protect it from soap and water, because you want to make sure you wash the head. All right, so I'm going to use the artificial tears drops, and so the first thing I'm going to do is put some drops in her eyes and then some cotton balls in her ears, and then we'll go ahead and do the shampoo. So the other thing that's important is if you don't have someone to help you with the shampoo, you need to have some way of securing your pet so that they don't jump out of the tub. So Bendy, we're here at the City Dog Market. They have the room well supplied, and there's a little neck harness that you can use to keep the dog in the tub. But if you can get somebody to help you, it makes it more fun for everybody, and it keeps you from having to worry about the dog jumping out of the tub. The other thing, though, that is very important is to never, ever, ever leave the dog unattended in the tub, harnessed this way. So it's just like leaving a child unattended in the bathtub. It's something that you just don't want to do. But this will be my extra set of hands and keeping her still while I give her the shampoo. So let's go ahead and get the cotton in her ears and the artificial tears in her eyes, and we'll be ready to go. So cotton needs to go in the dog's ears, and what you're going to do is grab the base of the ear, pull it up away from the head, and then just put the cotton ball, stuff the cotton ball in the ear as far as you can. Now Bendy's ears are very sensitive. She really doesn't like it, but it's important to get that cotton in there. During the course of the shampoo, the cotton will get wet. The dog will probably shake her head, and she may even shake the cotton out, but it will serve the purpose of minimizing the amount of water that gets in the ears. Bendy's about 6 months old, so I've chosen a wiggly puppy to demonstrate this with, but you know, it can be a challenge or not. It depends on how much you make it fun. So the other thing that sometimes is necessary is to have some bribe in the way of a treat, and this is a hypoallergenic pumpkin treat that we're gonna give Bendy to reward her for being a good girl. And then the next thing we're going to do is put some artificial tears drops in her eyes. And I like the drops because they don't seem to bother the pet, and you can get them in. If you've got a moving target like Bendy, you're more likely to get the drops in the eyes without too much trouble. So I've still got a little treat to try to encourage her to cooperate. And we'll put a couple of drops in both eyes. And then, thank you, sweetheart, for being so good. And so now we're ready to shampoo. We've got the cotton balls in the ears, we've got the artificial tears in the eyes, we've got all that we need. The other thing that I'm going to say at this point before we start the shampoo is that if you've got a long-coated dog, you need to make sure that you've clipped the mats out, that you've taken anything off the animal. If they have little dingleberries around their bottom, that you remove that before you shampoo your pet, because if there are mats there and you shampoo your pet, it's just going to make it worse. The other thing is if you've got an animal with a medium or long coat, you want to sort of brush them out a little bit before you shampoo them, just to get any material that might be caught in the coat out of the coat before you shampoo them. So Bendy is a short-coated breed of dog, my favorite kind, because there's really not a whole lot of prep other than the cotton balls and the artificial tears ointment in the eyes. So we've got our water already warmed up. The thing that you need to understand when you're shampooing an animal is that you do not want the water to be hot or excessively cold. I tell owners that it should be body temperature, you know, around 100 degrees. If you can think of maybe testing a baby bottle on your skin and seeing that it's just that temperature, that's probably the perfect temperature for bath water in bathing your pet. And you want to start with, some people will start on the head, other people will start on the body, but you want to get your pet completely wet before you start adding the shampoo. So we're just going to get her wet here. That's a good girl. That's a good girl, Bendy. I think she's got the hang of it. It's not so bad here. I'm going to add a little bit more hot water. And we're going to get her wet from head to toe. You see what I mean when I say you're going to get wet? The dog's going to shake a little bit during the process, and it's really okay. I usually wait until last to do the head because for whatever reason, sometimes dogs won't shake if their head's not too terribly wet. They'll shake a little bit, but once you get it on their face and head, they really want to get all of that water off. So make sure you get your pet completely soaked from head to toe. You know, lift the leg, get under there really good. You're going to want to get both sides, so just because she's standing up against the wall doesn't mean that that's not a side that we pay attention to. So we've got her wet and we're ready to shampoo her. Remember, we mixed the shampoo in this bottle with water. So we put about an ounce of water in here, or an ounce of shampoo in here, filled it up with water, we shook it up, and so now we're ready to apply it. And this is just going to allow us to get a better dispersal of the shampoo. If you're using a medicated shampoo, remember that it's not going to lather much. I've taken the top off of this just to get it on because the little hole in my squirt bottle is too small to really get shampoo out. But once you get it out, you see how quickly it lathers up. Remember that if it's a medicated shampoo, this is medicine. So you're not, you can't judge how much shampoo you've got on or how good you're doing by the amount of lather that you get, because for most medicated shampoos, the lathering agent has been left out of the shampoo. So oftentimes I'll tell owners, if it's the first time that you've used the medicated shampoo, to bathe your pet with just a cleansing shampoo first, and then rinse it off, and then use the medicated shampoo, and the amount of lather you get is probably as good as it's going to get. So if you look at the amount of lather that we've got on Bindi, this is probably as good as it's going to get. We're not going to get the mounds of shampoo bubbles that you're used to seeing on the hair commercials. And shampoo therapy is skin therapy. So we're really trying to get the medicine down to the skin. We're not really cleaning the fur, we're trying to treat a skin condition. And so it's important to get this medicine from head to toe, from top to bottom, to pay attention to areas that you think need special attention, or the areas that your veterinarian said should be given that special attention. Oftentimes, these guys that have allergies will have a pododermatitis or an infection on their paws, and a medicine has been prescribed to be used to help clear up those infections, and so you need to pay special attention to the paws. So what I'm going to do is turn her around a little bit so I can get this other side. I'm actually going to add just a little bit of water to dilute the shampoo out even more, because it feels like it's a little thicker than what I want it to be on our skin. But look at how well it lathers for us. I'm going to put this down here so it doesn't bother you. And as I said, it's skin therapy, so we want to make sure we get it from head to toe, and that we really massage it into the skin for 10 minutes by the clock. Your veterinarian will give you some very specific instructions about how to do that. I'm going to put some shampoo on her paws so that I can really pay attention to her paws, and you want to make sure that you rub in between the toes and between each of the foot pads, that you go up the legs, that you get the armpit area, that you get the chest area, that you get the neck area, all those places underneath that sometimes get overlooked. And we want to do all 4 paws. We want to make sure that we get the medicine to every single inch of skin so that it has the effect that we want to have. And when we say shampoo for 10 minutes by the clock, that's active shampooing. That means rubbing it in for those 10 minutes. It doesn't mean shampooing by lathering your pet up and then letting them sit in the tub for 10 minutes, because that 10 minutes is not going to do any good. It's actually the rubbing that does a good job and actually gets the dead skin to loosen up and get the medicine underneath. Now what this is just a little shampoo mitt, and sometimes these are good if the animal's skin is not really horribly irritated. These little shampoo mitts work great in giving the animal a little bit of a massage. Bindi really likes this. And it allows you to get to places that you might not ordinarily get to and really make sure. And remember, when you're doing this, you want to be gentle. So rough handling of the skin is never indicated. If they're little crusts and scale, don't pick them. Let the soap soften them up so that when you get ready to rinse, it'll just come off easily. So the very last place I'm going to shampoo is her head. Let me get these back paws. And sometimes what may be necessary, especially if you have a Cocker Spaniel or a long-coated breed that has paw disease or infections, yeast infections or bacterial infections on the paws, is that you may have to get a little brush or a little nail file before you actually shampoo the animal. Part the hair back from the base of the nail and actually remove that waxy debris before you get your pet in the tub. That waxy debris is like glue, and once the skin is wet, once the area of the skin between the coat is wet, it's not going to come off very easily. All right, so the last place I'm going to do is Bindi's head and face, and I'm going to use my hands, and I'm actually going to massage the shampoo on her muzzle and her face. We just have to make sure that we get this area and that we don't miss it. If you notice, I'm washing her ears, her ear flaps as well, but I'm trying not to get any water, any extra water in her ears. And once we get all of this done, we're ready to rinse. So I'm going to massage her for a few more minutes, and when you see us again, we're going to be doing the rinse. Good girl, Bindi. So the rinsing is just as important as the shampoo, because you want to get every bit of shampoo off this pet. A lot of people do it differently. They'll start and rinse the head independent of the rest of the body. I usually start on the neck and work my way back and get all of the soap off of the body, and then I do the head last for the same reason that I shampoo the head last and get the head wet last, because when that head gets wet, most dogs like to shake. And although I know I'm going to get wet during this process, I try to minimize it as much as I can. So with we talked about getting either a converter hose that you can attach to your sink or your tub, or going to a place like the City Dog Market where you can use their bathing facilities, or using your shower at home, or doing it outside. Wherever you decide to do it, you want to make sure that you have the ability to get every inch of this dog rinsed off and every bit of soap off. So what we're doing is just getting it all off of her body. I'm going to lift her leg up here so that we can actually rinse her underneath. And you can usually feel whether the shampoo is still on her or not, and you can kind of scrub the skin and see if any soap bubbles pop up. But you should be able to tell that you have rinsed her clear and the water is running clear. We're going to turn her around here in a minute and get the other side, but I make sure I get under her tail and between her legs, that I pick up her paws and rinse the bottom parts of her paws and between her toes to make sure that we have thoroughly removed all residual of the shampoo. And the place that people a lot of times forget or maybe don't get to completely are the armpit areas and the groin areas because of the way the animal is standing. And if that shampoo stays there, it could be a potential source of irritation. So take your time in doing this rinsing and make sure the skin doesn't feel slick at all. It should actually, you should have that squeaky clean feel if you've gotten all the shampoo off. If it's slick and kind of slimy feeling, it means that you're leaving a little bit of shampoo behind and you need to rinse a little bit more. But I usually start at the top, work my way down, rinse, nice shake, and then do it again until I'm sure we're completely rinsed off. Now, what some people will do, and I think it's a great idea, especially if you have an animal that's afraid of hoses, is, remember I told you to get a bucket and a pitcher and all that kind of thing? Well, I think that having a bucket of water is a great way of doing the rinsing as well. And for rinsing the head, I like to use a pitcher because I can very gently pour it on and not work carefully in not getting the water in the eyes, not getting any soap in the eyes, even though we use some artificial tears ointment. I always put my hands over the dog's eyes and then pour, and then use that same hand to sort of make the, allow the water to get all the soap off the face. And Bindi is doing great. And as you can see, our cotton balls are almost out of the ears, but they've done a great job in protecting the ears from getting water during the course of the shampoo. And we're just about done. I think at this point, if we're sure we've checked, Bindi's shaken, we feel all between the legs and make sure that there are no slicky areas, no areas that feel like there's still shampoo. I like to use a towel to sort of get the heavy water off before I use a towel to dry the animal. Some people like to use dryers. If you use a dryer, you need to not have it on the heat setting at all. It should just be air. If you're living in a place like Atlanta and it's summertime, what a lot of people will do is towel dry their pet and then take them for a short walk. And if you just walk around the block, by the time you get home for a short-coated dog like this, she'll be completely dry. So the very last part, and the part that's the most fun, I'm gonna let her go, is to towel dry. And this is the part that a lot of dogs love because you get a nice vigorous rub and shampoo after the shampoo. And most dogs like to be dried. So that's it. We're at the end of the shampoo. We take the cotton balls out if they haven't been shaken out by the dog. We finish our drying. And guess what, Bendy? I've got one more treat for you. Can you sit for me? Can you sit? Say no, I've had enough. Look at that. Look at that. Thank you so much for your attention. This should be a fun and happy activity for you and your pet, as well as being something that's going to help your pet get better. And when you're done, treat. Yay, we're done! Thank you. See you next time.